everyone. Today I want to talk about water and keto in terms of tension and in terms of intake. So first off, if you're eating a higher carbohydrate diet, and that's what the standard American diet is, then you are very likely to be retaining water. Why is that? Well, 1 gram of carbohydrate typically retains 3 grams of water. So you can see how you could feel more puffy and bloated with water on a higher carbohydrate diet. On a high carbohydrate diet, you're also likely to retain sodium, and this is one of the reasons for high blood pressure on the standard American diet, because the salt can be just too much and affect the blood pressure. The other thing I want to say is that a higher carbohydrate diet can also reduce potassium. The RDA for potassium is 4,700 milligrams. That's quite a lot. And to reduce that in any way could become very challenging, because potassium is really important for muscle contraction. It's really important for the heart to function properly. You want to get away from the high carbohydrate diet. And even if you're following a ketogenic way of eating or a low carb way of eating, or even a carnivore way of eating, you just want to manage carbohydrates. So if you reduce carbohydrates down to, 20, carnivore could be even less, but a minimum of 20 up to a high range of being 100. So you're somewhere in the low carb, keto, carnivore realm, then you won't have near these issues with retaining water. So the other thing I want to say is that if you're experiencing puffiness around your eyes, in your face, in your ankles, or anywhere else, 2 extremes could be at work. One is that you could be dehydrated. So because when the body's dehydrated and it senses a scarcity of fluid, it's going to then store it. It's going to put it in places and sort of sock it away. So that's one thing to think about. You want to be thinking about whether, and asking yourself, am I thirsty? And I'm just ignoring my thirst. So that would be one thing to consider. The other thing would mean that maybe you are overhydrated, that you're consuming too much and you have a lot of extra water outside the cells that's accumulating in different places, and that's not good, because that is going to minimize and reduce your electrolytes, which your body, your heart in particular, so desperately needs. Electrolytes are really important. So you want to steer clear of these 2 extremes, right? And trust really your thirst mechanism. We were made to thirst for water, and there's a reason why that's there. So on a low carb, keto, or carnivore way of eating, you don't ever want to ignore thirst. You want to make sure that you drink when you're thirsty. Now, there's been the popular recommendation since the 80s to drink half of your body weight in water. So I weigh around 140 pounds. That would mean 70 ounces of water. That's several glasses. That sounds like a whole lot to me. So right now I fill a 32-ounce water bottle in the morning, and that's what I drink from throughout the day. And I do put in apple cider vinegar and lemon juice and some salt and some type of flavoring, an essential oil. Right now I've been using a strawberry flavoring that I really am enjoying. So anyway, so I'm using a water bottle that is half of this recommendation that kind of came out of the 80s. And that seems to be a good amount for me. There's a lot of things to factor into your water needs. First of all, the weather. I'm here in Pennsylvania, if it's a hot, humid day and I go sit in the sun at the pool, I might need 2 of those bottles of water. I might need that full 70 ounces of water for that type of a day. Or if I'm putting in my garden, a brand new garden, and digging up sod and, carrying wheelbarrows full of dirt. Or if I'm running a 5K, I'm doing some intense exercise. Those are all situations in which the amount could go up to that 70 ounces for me personally. But that's not always necessary, and I trust my thirst way more than I trust some number that was kind of drawn up in the 80s without really a lot of science behind it, you know, so this is really important. The other things you want to consider are just where you live too. Like if you live in a desert climate, you're typically going to have more water. You're going to thirst more often in that climate. I notice that I drink way more water in the summer, so seasons really matter. In the winter, I probably drink half, you know, of what I drink in the summertime. And I just don't feel as thirsty, and that's normal. That's my body working and telling me what my needs are, right? So the other thing I wanted to mention is that sodium and water need to balance. And actually, it's that balance between sodium and hydration that's more important than the actual getting in a certain number of ounces. Because if you're out of balance, you could have way too much water and you could be diluting your electrolytes, which could be hard on your heart, hard on your muscles, and could cause problems for you. So the balance is actually probably more important than thinking about a specific number of ounces. If you feel off in any way, I would suggest, you know, looking at salt or looking at water and thinking, could I be low in one or the other based on what else has gone on in the day? And then trying to up one to improve that balance and see if you will feel better. You know, this would be like if you're experiencing some muscle cramps, if you're experiencing some weakness or tiredness or headache, you know, these would be the first two things I would look at, is this sodium and water balance. That's really important. Also, you might want to think about your urine appearance. Now, if you're eating something like red beets, or you're consuming vitamin C or B vitamins, those will alter the appearance of urine. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about normal urine. If it starts to look dark, then you know, you might want to drink more water. That could be a signal that you need some more water too. And so ask yourself, am I thirsty and I'm just like so busy I'm not noticing that? You know, so getting some more water for that reason could be really important. The other thing is that potassium can be reduced, you know, by a higher carbohydrate diet. So it's really important to keep potassium up. And a lot of times, especially in the beginning of eating a lower carbohydrate diet, whether it's low carb, keto, or carnivore, an electrolyte powder can really be your friend in the beginning. And so I'm going to put a couple of links down in the show notes of this video for you to look at. I'm also going to put some videos just around this whole idea of water that will further explain what I've been saying here. So look in the show notes of this video for some additional videos. They're short, you know, so you might want to check them out and just get even more information. Thanks so much for visiting today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!